Greetings. Today, many Canadians are familiar with the 60s scoop, in which indigenous children were removed from their parents' care and placed in foster homes across the country. And in fact, I was one of those children who spent time in a foster home during the late 1970s. I can only describe the foster home as part of a large structure of an institutionalized system. For many of us, as indigenous children, we were subjected to a government-mandated policy of control. This act was simply another troubling chapter stemming from the Indian residential school systems as its grassroots. The goal of separating parents from their children was accomplished. Generations of pain, anguish, loss of culture and language remain today. A few of us seek to maintain balance in our lives, while others fall through the cracks of society by way of poverty and hopelessness. Either way, we move forward from what was then until today. Our quest for healing seems relative to a verse in a prayer, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. My view of being in foster care seems relative of many stories, because our childhood homes were deemed as inferior by social workers. The practice of intimidation against single parents was relative, especially mothers. For a few of us with no father present, made us vulnerable to a system uncaring and prejudiced government. I have never enjoyed sitting in a circle with white children wearing paper hats resembling something of an indigenous nature. The dances, the howls, the tomahawks were not merely a symbol of uplifting the soul, it was to further diminish my self-esteem. I moved forward since then, but spent time in counseling and therapy until my middle teens. Today, changes in our society and levels of government are very different now. First Nation communities and urban organizations are involved in the management of child and family welfare. There seems to be a success in identifying existing problems within the family, and cultural practices are used to heal them. The 60 Scoop court case would not have been possible without the voting resolutions of chiefs in Ontario who opposed the previous child and family laws in the province. And we must acknowledge the work of an associate judge, Edwin Kimmelman of Manitoba, who led a judicial inquiry in that province as well. It was not until February 14, 2017, the Ontario Superior Court Justice Edward Bellababa ruled the government of Ontario was liable for the harm caused during the 60s scoop. And of course, further actions have extended nationwide. During the 1990s, I did consider taking legal action for my time spent in foster care, but was unsure if my voice would be heard. As a younger adult, one can struggle with identity issues stemming from the loss of language, culture, and spirituality. I have worked to eradicate the hardships spent in foster care, and now I see more prosaic things in life. We can heal above circumstances, but together as a nation. Canada has risen above the constraints of a troubled history and has moved forward with the ethical understanding of multi-ethnic, multicultural, and a multi-faith society. I hope we can remain on the healing path to helping our parents, children, and neighbors to remedy further hardships beyond the 60 scoop. And finally, for those who passed on but experienced the harshness of the 60 scoop, you are not forgotten, and you are remembered in thoughts and prayer, as this Hebrew reading from the book of Psalm 23. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me lie down in greener pastures. He leadeth me in still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, and though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff comfort me. Thou preparest the table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, and runneth my cup over. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me in all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. And for those of us surviving, courage, love, perseverance, and respect for our neighbors remains key to living a happier and free life moving forward. I'd like to take this time to thank each and every one of you for listening. And may we all look forward to the days ahead as happy people. Miigwech.